My name is Daniel Puder, and I'm a retired, undefeated mixed martial arts fighter, and I won $1 Million Tough Enough on WWE. Today, I'm the president, one of the founders of Foundation Academies. We own private schools, a security company, health company. We're transforming the lives of our next generation. Yeah, there we go. Let's start off the day, right? How you guys doing today?
Wow.
That was like the low. Okay, there we go. How you guys doing today? So I love this panel because I used to be a pro athlete. My name is Daniel Puder. If you watch the video, we've built schools to be able to impact the next generation. We have a tech play. We have a real estate play. And I'm great. I mean, it's great to announce that next week we just got an investment bank through Dean, one of my mentors and friends, and we're doing our first real raise for real estate, tech, and brick-and-mortar schools that are state funded. So super excited to be here. Real quick, does anybody want a book before we start? I just came out with my book. Mike Tyson did the after. Wow, right here, somebody's hand flew up in the beginning. I don't know who. Here you go.
Piano.
Here you go. Two hands. We can get more. We can get more. I just want to start off with that. I appreciate everybody being here. So here's how it goes. We're going to do 5 minutes per pro athlete. I'm super excited. And we're going to go through what has made them successful and I would say significant in life, how they got from where they're at to where they want to go. So you guys ready? Yeah. Awesome. Elston Ridgle, how are you doing, sir?
Real good. Thank you, Dan.
So let's start with you. First question, what sport did you play and for how long?
I played professional football in the NFL for 8 years.
Awesome. How'd that go?
It was amazing. Being a kid here, especially in LA, from the South Central area, having that dream. As a kid, used to ride my bike down to the Forum to see the Lakers play at that time. I'll age myself a little bit out there for you guys. Will Chamberlain, Jerry West, and Gail Goodrich were playing at the time. And they would come around to our local park on their way to school coming down Manchester Boulevard and would shoot hoops with us. And so having that imagery as a young kid, understanding that the impact that you can make as a professional athlete on young kids, want to do that. So got a chance to do that for 8 years in the NFL. It's great.
Nice. How do you stay super disciplined, ultra healthy, and consistently outpacing others in your life today or when you were a pro athlete?
It's just, the basis in God and understanding how health relates to just everything. And then having a beautiful wife. My wife, Erica, is here with me, too. Woo! And having her at my side and really understanding it and partnering with her. And then our belief in God and having that transference over to our kids and being able to model and show that to them as a 62-year-old guy. It's great. It's just key to what it is. So that ability to show how important health and wellness is to your overall well-being is just a great model for other people. So I pride myself in it. And again, with the help of my wife, we are able to show and display that. Amazing.
What are you investing in today and what are your holdings? How do you spend your time in the investment world?
I'm a long-term investor. I like the ETFs. I like the Qs. I stay primarily NASDAQ. I work for Apple now, so I've got some insight. So primarily there, but I do real estate. I am a landowner and a landlord too. So I try to diversify, but I'm looking with the group out here particularly to diversify a little more, to learn even more, and just to broaden my horizons.
Nice. What visualization, affirmation, goal setting strategies to use to become the top 0.1 percenter?
I was lucky. I had great parents. I had both my parents for their lifetimes, and I still have my mom with me right now. She's 86 years old and lives with me. And just to be able to have that positive visualization in the house. My dad had his own business. He was one of the first black business owners in San Fernando Valley out here. So to be able to have that as modeling just really helped. So seeing how they promoted themselves. My mom was a registered nurse, and how they promoted themselves and how education was just primal to their success. Just modeled after that and showing my kids and my grandkids that now.
That's amazing. What $1 million lesson can you teach us and you learn from being a pro athlete?
Just have transferable skills. Treat people well. Do your best, work harder than the other guy, and make sure that you're just invested with God. Take the God first, make sure that he's primal in your life, and then outwork everybody. You got to get up earlier and you got to stay later.
Nice. Yeah. What are the most costly financial mistakes you've ever made?
just not being informed and making decisions without proper information. And then again, like we talked earlier, and I heard one of the earlier speakers talk about trust. That trust is just so hard to build. And particularly in professional sports and in football in general, we trust the other guy and we trust our teammates. And a lot of time we get information from them and you trust the guy that he trusts. And sometimes that's not such a smart idea. And I've made mistakes that way. So build your own trust in the people that you're going to be invested in, and then take the time to know them and get a familiarity with them and get some confidence before you make an investment.
What is, if somebody wants to be a top 1%er in their field, what would you give them for advice?
Work hard, focus, get the information, know what you want to do, have a passion for what you're doing, and be willing to learn as much as you can before you invest.
So tell me what you're up to today, and what kind of like legacy do you want to leave behind with your company?
Right now, I'm the global strategist for Apple, for EHS, for environmental health and safety. So I'm all over the world helping Apple out, building out their different construction sites, from operational, retail, and then our data centers right now. So that's keeping me busy. But beyond that, I like coaching. We're getting ready to start a girls flag football team because girls flag football is really taking off. So I want to really get involved in that. So developing plans for that, and then my outside investments.
So can you talk a little bit more about your outside investments?
The outside investments, again, are staying primarily in the tech industry, trying to really maximize the explosion of AI and what's going to happen there. So really looking at learning more about that and seeing which way and which direction should go for overall investments in that category.
Awesome. You guys, give me a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The champ is sitting next to me now. Lisa, Carmen Wang, what's happening?
I'm good.
So tell me what sport, how long did you do it for, Olympic level, rock star?
I was a 4-time USA national champion, Olympic level, and USA Hall of Fame gymnast. My first decade-long career from 9 to 19. I grew up in Wisconsin, but for the first 18 years of my life, I traveled to over 30 countries, but spent most of that time in buses and hotels and gyms, so didn't really get to see those places. I would say the number one thing that I learned as a gymnast was the ability to fall and get back up again, and not only experience the shame and the humiliation and the physical pain of falling down, but learning how to put a smile on your face, get back up with grace, and say the show must go on. And the other big thing that I learned was that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I was never the most flexible. I was never I didn't have the best body. I didn't come from the best, just background, but I certainly outworked every single person on that team, which is why I was the winner.
Yeah. So how did you stay super disciplined, ultra healthy, and outpace others? Like, what was that you had that they didn't have?
Back then or today?
Either one.
Okay. So back then, I was a absolute perfectionist. You had to be, we literally went for the perfect 10. So I was very strict on my diet, very strict on my schedule. The only thing I focused on was getting gold medals and getting straight A's. And I wanted to succeed at both school and gymnastics. Today, I'm a very different person. So as many of you know, I'm the author of the Bad Bitch Business Bible, all about going from good girl to bad bitch. And my background is really as that perfectionist, people-pleasing, obedient good girl that listened to authority and told me everything that was wrong with my body or my performance so that I could be the best. And I realized that there are some things that are good about that, but there are some things that are very toxic about that, especially when you become an adult and a woman. And so today, I actually have learned to let go of some of that ultra perfectionism, ultra discipline, because I realize that for me, what's really actually important is also to be able to enjoy the journey and not just go after the next medal, the next medal, the next achievement, because I've done that for so long. And so I've actually found that today, if I focus on actually enjoying myself in the process, surrounding myself with really good people, and actually being authentic to myself, that gets me more success than following some arbitrary schedule, like get up at 5 a.m., have a super strict diet, and restrict yourself in every way.
Yeah. There we go. There we go. Okay. What do you, where are you spending your time investing your holdings? What are you up to in this world?
I also run the Bad Bitch Empire Fund, which is a early stage venture fund investing in high growth female led tech companies. And we invest primarily in three core areas that we see the greatest systemic inequality, which is healthcare inequality, financial inequality, and labor inequality that looks like health tech, fintech, and future of work. And I'm really excited to say that 99% of our LPs are first-time female LPs. So one of my missions was to get more women on cap tables because we know that that's really how we build generational wealth when we're actually investing at the highest levels. And so in addition to that, I personally invest in crypto. I also invest in real estate. Those are my main things.
How do you use visualization, affirmation, goal setting rituals, and which one of them have you used most to be able to become as successful as you are today?
The number one question I've asked myself over the last few decades, and the answer always changes, is who is the most powerful and authentic version of me? And a lot of times, the version of yourself that you see in the mirror is not the most powerful and authentic version of you. And so I would always visualize that version of her or me. And she, especially at the point when I was a good girl and I was very insecure and I was, had very weak boundaries and didn't know my value, I would just imagine this kind of woman who was confident and generous and outspoken and knew her purpose. And I'm proud to say that that's the woman that I am today. So I think that's really the question to always ask yourself, like, who is the most powerful and authentic version of you, and continually iterating to become that person.
What is a $1 million lesson you've learned from being an athlete?
I would say that you have to be very diligent about figuring out whose opinion matters and whose opinion doesn't. Because everyone's going to have an opinion of you when you're in the spotlight. And most of those opinions don't actually matter as long as you are doing what you're meant to do and you're authentic to yourself.
Love it. Give a round of applause, you guys. Thank you. Can I have you go to the end and switch? Khari, you ready for this?
Musical chairs.
I'm gonna save Cain for last, if you guys don't mind, because he used to beat me up. So we're gonna have a little fun story at the end, okay? If that's cool. Khari, what's up, bro?
I'm great, man. Glad to be here. How are you?
Tell me about your sport. I'm awesome. Tell me about your sports career. What sport? How long?
So I play currently professional football. I've been playing for 6 years. Just finished up with the Philadelphia Eagles. Spent time with
World champion Philadelphia Eagles.
Champion Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, sir.
We got some champs on stage today.
Yes, sir. Spent time with Minnesota, Tennessee Titans, and the Chicago Bears. So yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Holy smokes. Okay, so how did you say super disciplined, ultra healthy, and consistently outpace others in the NFL and your life?
So all of that is, to me, it's action-based, and actions are about systems, and I always felt like I had the best systems around me and the best people. Now, currently, as I train in the off-season, having a wife who can step in and allow me to focus and do things that I need to do for my body on the field is huge. And then also, like, my nutritionists, my trainers, just surrounding yourself with people who care about their craft and are going to really pour that service into you. And it's not just a, hey, you pay me, we train. It's a, I care about your career. Let's get better, and let's get better every day. And so I have the systems around me that allow me to get better every day.
That's awesome. What are you investing in now? What are your holdings? How are you focusing on, long term?
So I invest in the public equity markets, ETFs, long-term strategy. I'm also a holder of single family real estate, and me and my business partner are looking to get into multifamily in our hometown, Huntsville, Alabama.
Nice. I like Alabama. Anybody from Alabama here? Couple people. Okay, nice. Okay, awesome. What visualization, affirmation, goal setting rituals and strategies have you used to become a champ?
So mindfulness and meditation, and also visualization, are the main ones that I used throughout college and throughout the NFL that helped me perform. So mindfulness, meditation, sitting there, getting to that quiet, dark place, it allows you to block out all the noise. And in that space, you can control your self-talk. And self-talk is one of the biggest things that I've had to work on and master throughout my time in the NFL. When you master your self-talk, you can talk to that aspirational vision of yourself that person that you want to show up as, and you can control how you're going to respond when things hit the fan. So when you make a bad play, when you get hit in a way you don't want to get hit, you might get a type of feedback from your coach that triggers something inside you that sends you on this doom loop. You're able to be mindful in that moment, control your breathing, control your body language, tell yourself exactly what you've practiced, because it's not just something that you're going to tell yourself in the moment. You have to practice it. You can tell yourself a narrative and a story about that failure, about that feedback, and you can snap right back. You can have mental elasticity that push you back into that warrior thinking. That's what I call it. You can call it whatever you want to, but that snaps you back into that warrior thinking, allows you to attack what you're doing in that moment and be extremely present. And I had a coach in college who really put me on to visualization, and mental reps in performance are just as good as physical reps. Your brain can't tell the difference. So you can get to that quiet place mentally through meditation and visualize what a game day looks like. So for me, because I had done it over 200 times throughout college and the NFL, this last year was really when I took that to the next level, and I was able to visualize everything that I wanted to happen. Even if I was nervous about a play in the playbook, I could visualize how I wanted to turn out. And most of the time, it turned out how I visualized it, because you can create the future you want to see, not only in external, but in your internal world also. So I've rambled about that, but I'm really passionate about that. And I think that that's what's taken me from an undrafted free agent to a guy who's lasted 6 years in the NFL.
I used to visualize you. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
I knew that was coming. And I visualized myself beating up Cain here, and then he kicked my ass every day, so that was rough. What is the most costly mistake you've ever done financially?
Skipping steps in the knowledge. You have to, me and Cam always say, you got to do the knowledge, and it's not the most grammatically correct, but you got to do the knowledge, and you can't skip steps. If you skip steps, you're going to pay for it. Anything, business, investing, relationship, you can't skip steps. As an athlete, you don't just start out doing 400-pound back squat and pistol squat and all this other stuff. You got to start at the basics. And so you have to know what you're doing and not try to skip steps, because if you try to skip steps, you'll pay for it on the back end.
Nice. So tell me what you're up to today. How are you building your company? What are you up to? What do you need here?
Yeah, so like I said, my partner and I, we're looking to build a multifamily, multi-use development in our hometown of Huntsville, Alabama, in conjunction with a training facility for youth sports and high school sports in the area. And we're looking just for not only investment, but partnership that can help us take our vision from where we are to where we want to go.
Amazing.
Thank you.
You guys give Khari Blasingame a round of applause. Thanks, Cam. Welcome, David.
Thanks for having me.
David Bergeron, you guys. How many years you play sports? NFL, rock star?
Yeah, I am by far the least decorated athlete on the stage. I went to Stanford and then played 2-ish years in the NFL. I was a drafted guy who was beat out by guys like him who were undrafted, ended up taking my spot. So I was drafted by the Eagles, spent times with the Titans and the Panthers, played in NFL Europe when that used to be a thing, in Cologne, Germany, which was a wonderful experience, and then transitioned to my true love, which is real estate.
Nice. So how'd you say super disciplined, ultra healthy, and consistently outpace other people?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in this, like the concept of curiosity, and my mom taught me early on that like attitude is everything, and it's kind of cheesy and cliche, but I do think there's when you sort of apply the sense of curiosity to each day and the sense of improvement, and the Peter Drucker quote of like what gets measured gets changed, and I think this concept of like identifying what's going to be important to you in that moment. Being open to new ideas and new perspectives and new people that enter your life that are there to help you improve. That's something you learn really, really early on in any athletic arena that I think really applies into business and into life and being a father and a husband and all those things. And so for me, that was an important trait that I still carry with me today.
What are you investing now? What are your holdings? How are you in the real estate world?
Yeah. So we run a real estate firm called Reseed Partners. One of my partners actually is based here in Los Angeles. His name is Moses Kagan. And so we have a kind of an interesting business. If anyone's familiar with Y Combinator, we took a lot of the learnings from Y Combinator did about kind of sourcing talent and finding up and coming entrepreneurs. We pulled from, the likes of Vista Equities or others where you can sort of centralize a lot of the back office efforts that are done to sort of scale these GP businesses. And then, Sequoia Scout program is another one that kind of comes to mind as we think about finding best super hyper local talent that are in Huntsville, Alabama, doing something very specific from that market, knowing inside and out. We've heard a lot, through the panels that real estate is still hyper local. And as much as AI and big tech is going to, I think, help make that better, it's not going to replace that local touch and that local relationship that I think leads to a lot of interesting deal sourcing opportunities. And so we started a fund and a firm that's helping buy those assets all over the country.
What visualization, affirmation, goal setting have you used to become super successful?
I mean, I think for me, it's the consistency effort and the idea around getting up and doing one thing better every day. And it's, again, cliche, but if you get like 1% better every day, that again compounds over time. I think the other piece of this is this belief and understanding that you're better with your teammates. And, the Michael Jordan quote of like, talent will win games, the teamwork will win championships, I think really applies. And so when I think about that on a daily basis, it's not only what can I do to make myself better, but what can I be doing to make my teammates and my peers and my family members and my community better? And I think that really kind of lifts you up, in a way that's meaningful and sustainable and feels not just kind of greed oriented, but truly all boats rise oriented. And so I think for me, that's something I live by daily.
What's the biggest financial mistake you've ever gone through and learned about?
Oh, that's easy. So when I was at Stanford,
College debt.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
No debt. I was a scholarship guy, which is great. My fifth year, at Stanford, they let you start a master's and you can do basically a 2-year program, master's in 1 year. So I applied and joined the communications department master's program. And at the time, this is 2004, there was an early track that just got started in social media. And so there was a very, very small program of folks that had done the social media track. I finished the first 2 of the 3 quarters. I turned to all my peers and said, all right, peace guys, I got drafted, screw you. I'm going to make millions in the NFL. I ended up not finishing that degree. Basically that whole cohort of people in that social media track all went to Facebook and they all have been retired for the last, decade and a half. So that was like a giant financial mistake on my part, not to sort of stick with that program, see that through, but here I am.
Nice. What is the $1 million lesson you've learned from being a pro athlete that you can tell us about?
I mean, the one I see consistently time over again is ensure you surround yourself by good people. And I think that, again, all these athletes up here, like I said, have high stature. Not myself, but I think there's a lot of people here that have a lot of people that want to be around them and want to help them. And I think just having that antenna up that, again, you don't want to believe that people around you are, I know there's been a company line here that everyone's going to, take advantage of you and going to lie to you and you got to be really careful. I'd like to choose sort of the other side of that coin, which is also people actively want to be helpful. And if there's a beneficial way to be helpful towards each other, having the antenna up to sort of identify where that Venn diagram might cross, that's what you're looking for. And sure, you got to make sure you don't, over trust people that haven't earned it. But I also think that if your blinders are on too tight, you're going to miss some pretty interesting opportunities by people that do stand to help you and you can help them. And I think just, having an open aperture to that and be willing to at least have the conversation, can really benefit in the long run.
Tell me what you're looking for here and what you want to leave with.
I'm just happy to be here. It's my first time. I was invited by a friend, Manny Fernandez, here. So it's wonderful to be a part of this network. Seems like a wonderful community and a bunch of events. Again, we have a firm and a fund, and we're always looking for wonderful capital partners. We're also looking for wonderful operators locally. So we're just trying to spread the word of Reseed and what we're doing. And, happy to be a part of this new community.
Nice. Give Dave a round of applause. So you guys mind if I bring up my son real quick? He wanted to be a part of this last one. Is that cool? He's been doing jiu-jitsu. Hey, Conrad, you want to come up, bud? Come here, big boy. Come on. You want to sit on my lap right here, Bubba? Okay. Here we go. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask Cain some questions, okay? Is that cool? We'll have a little fun? Okay, so just to start off, Cain Velasquez, when I visualized every day after I got whooped by Cain, I had to go spar with him the next week, I visualized me beating him. It never happened. So it's rough when you go against the world's toughest ultimate fighter ever, period, hands down, where you can go, so we can tell more stories later, but it's pretty nutty. So Cain Velasquez, thanks for coming, bro.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Your mic's not on. Let's check that real quick.
2. There we go.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
I'll start over just for the video camera. Is that cool? Cain Velasquez, thanks for coming today, bro.
Thanks for having me.
So, tell us a little bit about your career real quick. I know you kicked a lot of people's asses.
So I started out as a wrestler at Arizona State, and then I saw this Ultimate Fighting and thought, okay, let's try that, and ended up being a 2-time UFC heavyweight champion. But
Woo, yeah.
I got to, from seeing the sport when it just started, being into it when it started, just catching wave, I'm just excited and proud to be a part of the growth of the sport in general.
Yeah. What did you do to become super disciplined, ultra healthy, and consistently outpace others in the sport?
It's just that passion of what you're doing, I believe we get called to do something by a higher power, whether it's, it's in you and you just follow that. I didn't know what I was doing necessarily. I know that I was essentially just learning on myself, learning my limitations, which we don't have limitations, just the ones that we put on ourselves. It's knowing how much heart we have. It's knowing how much pain we can endure, but it's learning lessons. So for me, as far as fighting goes, just try to be the most efficient. Try to use my positives and just what I'm really good at, which is for heavyweight being fast paced, using the wrestling with the striking. So kind of keeping your opponent on his toes, not showing him everything that you're doing, being super strategic, but also just being very efficient with everything. So you can kind of keep that fast pace going. So I think that and again, it was just the passion. It was just being able to go in every day and push myself to my limit, and do it every day, going to war every day, learning on myself, learning that you're not always the top dog every day. That you have those days where somebody else beats you and just not being happy with that, just trying to come back better.
Who beat you in practice?
We had,
You see the smile.
even for me, it was even if giving up one takedown.
Okay.
Which
one takedown a year.
Okay, just not being happy with that. But again, learning from it, learning how to adjust and doing, yeah.
What visualization, affirmations, and goal settings did you do to become the best in the world?
There was no goal settings or anything. It was just, again, being put in a position where I just loved what I was doing. My heart was in it. I just couldn't get enough of it. I was just, my heart, soul, my body, I put it all into what I was doing, the constant learning. When fights would come up, I always have that visualization of being put in certain positions and being able to, being comfortable in there, knowing that no matter what happens, you're always good. I'm comfortable. I've trained for this. And being relaxed in a very high pressure situation. So it was a lot of just self-learning, but just that passion and that hunger for what you're doing every day. It was that, just following that.
What is the biggest lesson you've learned from being a pro athlete?
Biggest lesson I learned, so many lessons. As pro athletes, you're in it. When I started out of college, the body could do everything, but I didn't know a lot of knowledge yet, a lot of wisdom, for the striking, the kicking, the wrestling. You get to a midpoint where the body can't do everything that it once could, but now you have a lot of the techniques. And you get to the end where the body really can't take much, but so much, and you're as efficient. You're the most efficient then. You know it all. You know how to impose your will on someone else. So it's getting hit with limitations and still making it work. Still making the best out of what you have. It's just doing that. It's yeah.
Tell me what you're up to today.
Up to today,
because you're transforming minds.
So up to today, so working with the Global Fight League, I'm one of the managers for Team Dubai. It's a team-based MMA group. Also working with another organization to do lucha libre here in the United States to again just bring that culture of like Mexico to here in the States, and then also I work a lot with psychedelics. So having, just like we did in fighting, is having people that are ready, they need healing, they need wisdom, that I guess just find that they're in their power, right? That's kind of what we're doing here. We're helping each other through life to find out that you are complete, you are it all. You know, no more external stuff. It's the power's in here. Once you find that power, that love in here, with the divine, and your external world starts changing because you're living through here.
I've heard Joe Rogan, RFK, Kyle Kingsbury, they talk a lot about psychedelics and how they're with veterans. I know you're working with veterans, you're working with athletes, how instead of, with trauma based, with, hurt, anger, pain, whatever, focus, whatever that is, they're becoming more vision, purpose driven, and it's quicker than like coaches, therapy, all the other things. What have you seen with that?
Yeah, it's going in with the space, knowing that these certain traumas changed you, yes, but you don't change you into the person you are today. And without those traumas, you wouldn't be here. It's learning from that. It's letting those traumas go. It's being disattached from past things and living in the now. And just living through your higher self, having experiences, those were experiences, but they don't define who I am. I survived, I learned from it, but I let that past go. I let my baggage go. And I'm here in the moment, living here from my heart, and, just being guided by the divine.
So you have just last question. You have a 300-acre ranch. You guys are rocking it. You're doing seminars. You do corporate stuff. Not even all with plant-based medicine. You're doing like breath work, stretching, all these other things. Can somebody here bring you guys into their companies to bring that culture to the next level? Either with or without. They can pick and choose, right? Yeah.
It's not always. With plant medicine, it's people that really need it, or people that tell themselves that they need it. We're doing also just ancient practices where it's meditation, sweat lodges, cold plunges, breath work, but it's doing all these ancient practices to go inside, So it's not always plant medicine. Like we talk about going to a place where you become the medicine. You don't need anything anymore because you are complete now. Now you're just living. Now you're just enjoying all this.
Awesome. You guys give a round of applause to Cain. Thank you so much, brother. The reason I love what these athletes all said, definitely with Cain, with what they're doing with transformational work, is Richard asked a really amazing question at the Dallas event about a year ago. And he asked everybody in the room, how many of you spend $30,000 a year on your health? And I looked at it, and I spend about 10 on mine personally, but I don't spend 30. And there's people out there that are going above and beyond for prevention-based health, for like what Ed Connors did with Building Gold's Gym, one of my mentors here, with whatever that is. Like, how do you build your health today so you don't need sick care tomorrow? Because our sick care system is amazing, but our healthcare system is prevention-based. How do you do that? So, Richard, that question you asked me a year ago, it really impacted my life because I've even upped my own healthcare. But I know every single one of these men and women on this panel, they spend time on theirs. And I challenge you for that so that when you can live longer for your kids, your grandkids, your company, your foundations, whatever that impact, that purpose you're doing, we'll just go to that next level because you spend today a little bit every day, 30 minutes working out, whatever that blood work, whatever that body scans you do are helping you to prevent whatever illness, sickness is going to be coming. So thank you guys so much. The athletes are going to exit. Which way are they going to exit? That way outside. If you guys want to talk to them so that there's not like mobbing, please don't do that to Cain because he'll take you down. That won't be good for any of us. So I appreciate you. Have a blessed day, you guys. Have fun. Thank you so much.
If you are a founder, raising capital, developing real estate, or you're an investor, would love for you to get involved in the Family Office Club. I've run this community for 18 years now. We've hosted 300 live events. We have 17 million social media group members and followers. We have the #1 YouTube channel on family offices. We have the #1 most popular podcast on family offices. You can learn more about us and our membership options at familyoffices.com. We have 30 in-person events planned in 2026 and another dozen events this year. Please go to familyoffices.com to learn more.